Well, this actually was very convenient because I was actually preparing this sheet for another presentation that we have coming up, because Eagle Creek is one of actually the pioneer school for the Google Chrome operating system. And so obviously our school is less than 2 years old, so most of the things in our school are very new. But we are also the pioneers for the Google Chrome operating system, which is Google's take or attempt to create a computer operating system. It's very similar to the Android, if you have an Android phone, where there are no programs installed on the computers, no software to buy. Everything is web-based and cloud-based. And so obviously we've got very good internet in the school. But the beauty about it is that it allows for easy internet searching, optimal sharing capability, and cloud-based storage. It allows us to share files and information with students through various programs, and allows the teachers and students to easily collaborate and work together on projects. On this sheet, it might be more information than what you actually need, but it's information that you could read if you want to know how we're progressing your students through learning these various programs. If you look right below the introductory paragraph, each of our students has a Google for Education student account, which allows them access and connectivity within the permitted Google programs. And your students' Google email, when you log into Google, is going to ask you to enter in your email. Our students K through 5 do not actually have active email or Gmail accounts. They will get those activated when they go to 6th grade in middle school. But right now, they just have an account. But you still have to log in the same as if you had an email address. So their email address to access their Google for Education account will be their student ID number, which is their 8-digit 500 number, which most of them are acquainted with already. And then you just need to add pike.k12.in.us. And then then the password is their student-created or unique password that they created here at school, or for kindergarten and 1st grade, and some 2nd graders we create for them. So if you don't know those, I'm not allowed to email them to you, but by request I can create a paper copy and give them to you. So if you don't know your student ID number, that could be obtained, I believe, through the office phone call, or if you want to email me, I can. Well, actually, I can't email it to you, but we can get it to you. Oh yes, Skyward, yes. And then your student, I can't share the password discreetly. I have to send that home with them. I can't email passwords. But what we do, we spent the first half of the year so far, we acclimate the students to the operating system. All first through 6th grade. We show them how to log in, obviously, and then because everything in Google is web-based or internet-based, we teach them how to navigate through the Google Chrome web browser. So they know how to open up Google Chrome, do a web search. Actually, we teach web searches before we teach them how to go to a website, because most things that Google provides, they want you to search it out. So our keyboards are even different for our Chromebooks and Chrome boxes, desktops, where instead of cap locks, there is a search bar with a magnifying glass. So there you can easily access quick search. There's an app launcher where they can do quick searches, but also look for apps as well. And so we teach them how to navigate through and do searches various ways. Once they get the Google search results, we show them how to, look for images, news, videos, books, things specific to their search. We show them all the various fun things you can do, how to arrange windows and tabs on a page, have multiple things open at the same time, along with closing those. And also, Google has a keyboard that's unique to their system, where the browser controls, where there would be the function keys, F1, F2, all the way through 12. Instead of those, the browser controls are on the keyboard. So they don't have to click the back button. There's actually a back button and a refresh button, a home key, minimize, maximize keys. All those keys are actually built into the keyboard, which is actually pretty cool for a web-based system. One of the beautiful things that Google for Education provides is a Google Drive account with more storage space than you'll probably ever use in your lifetime. I think the standard free Google account that everybody can sign up for comes with 15 gigabytes of storage. I don't know if ours is unlimited, but it'd be very hard for you to max out your students' Google Drive storage space. I've heard it's somewhere in the neighborhood to a couple terabytes, but your student has more storage space from Google than you do. Everything that they do in Google, every document that they create in the various programs is saved to their Google Drive. Also, the beautiful thing about this is if you access it at home, if you like to upload family pictures or things that they could access and utilize in projects here for school, you can upload it to their Google Drive, and then they'll be able to access it here when they log in to their student account. Along with the Google Drive, the Google programs that are standard, Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Drawings, Google Slides, Google Classrooms, all those folders, everything that they create in those various programs, which I'll discuss in a second, they're all saved within the Google Drive. So every document they create, even if they just type one word, it's saved in the Google Drive. And there are at Google, you don't have to save anything. Everything is saved automatically. So if you type on Google Docs, if you start word processing and typing a paper, as soon as you stop, Google's already saved everything. And the beautiful thing about it is that it saves everything that you type. That we can go back, and students have found this out the hard way, that even after you delete it, we can go through even days later and check the revision history. Every change that you make, we can go back and find the time and minute that you have recorded it. Again, students have found this out the hard way. You type something in, you delete it, we can go back and pull it back up later on. One of the good things and things that we've had to learn how to monitor and guard is that the students are allowed to share these documents. So within Google Docs, Google Slides, Google Sheets, and I guess I should probably explain what those are. Google Docs is Google's version of Microsoft Word. Google Sheets is Google's version of Excel. Google Drawings is a graphic design program. Google Slides is very much like PowerPoint presentation, except there's no software involved. You can access these things on computer. You can even download them as an app on your phone. And I'll discuss more about that in a second. But when they create documents or files within these programs, they are able to share them. So students can share and work simultaneously in real time on a document. Or they could be an Excel program or work on a drawing or a slide presentation together. They can also collaborate with their teachers. Teachers can create a template for students to work on and then share it, and then he or she can actually monitor what they're doing as they're typing to see if they're actually working on it or not. So when I'm in the computer lab, if we have them work on, our fifth graders are doing European Explorer projects. And so we create a template, and they're typing, they can insert pictures. I can actually sit from my computer and see what they're doing, what they're typing, pictures that they're adding, but they can also share it with one another. And then there's also the ability to leave comments, and they can have conversations with one another. So I have to really be on my job as far as just monitoring, because the conversations they have with each other wouldn't necessarily be the conversations that they'd have if their parents were watching. But
like some type of messenger system?
No, it's just if you share a document, you can set the parameters for how it's shared. So you can share it as view only, or you can give the person you share it with permission to edit it. And if they can edit it, they can type, make changes, but also with every Google file, there's the ability to comment on it. So it's primarily used for teachers or supervisors to give oversight, make comments and suggestions, but the students use it as a messenger. So they can type to one another in shared documents. So they'll open up a document and then share it with their neighbor across the room, because they're not allowed to talk or talk loud, but they can have a conversation with one another through the comment section, or they can just open up a document, share it, and type to one another. So the kids are, yes. But what they don't know is that, especially if it's a document we created, the teacher or the administrator or the person who created the document, I have access rights as well. And so students have found out the hard way that if you open a document, that we can view your conversation in real time. And then even after you delete it, we can go to the revision history and pull it back up completely. And I've actually had to share a document with the teacher and say, this is what your kids are doing, and it's not European Explorer research. This is the conversation they had, and it got screenshotted and shared with parents. And so the students know that now, and we found that out the hard way. Yes, they can share outside. If they, and this is something that you can utilize for your benefit. If your student is working on a report or a project that they're using one of our Google-based programs, they can actually share it with you. And you could even, I'm not going to tell you get in trouble at work, but you could see what they're typing. And you could actually view and edit it in real time.
It's a sharing system, so it's blocked.
Okay, yeah.
Most employers block those.
Yeah.
They don't want you to share things with outside.
Yeah, that's true. So you, if your student has shared it with, if you're, yeah.
It's just it's much harder on the small screen.
Yes. And that's the beautiful thing about the Google connectivity, is that for every program that we have on the computer, there's also an app. So you can download Google Docs, Google Sheets, Google Drawings, Google Slides, and Google Classroom, which I'll discuss in a second, to your phone. And so the kids can even go home and they can continue their work on your phone or tablet or computer. And all they need is internet access and the app available. And so kids can really, if they really have no excuse, if they're somewhere with the internet and a phone or a tablet or some device, that they can access these things. They just need to log in.
Is there a way to prevent them from sharing things with other people? I mean, it's fine if you're sharing it with your parents, but...
Yeah, well, not that I'm aware of yet. That's the danger of it, is that they can share it with pretty much anyone that they know the email address to, unless we create the document and we limit their ability to share it. And that's what I was going to get to now, is that there's what Google has created for Google for Education, which is called Google Classroom, which is a virtual classroom, and I've created a virtual classroom for every computer lab class that I have. And some teachers actually work with me on it, and they utilize it for classroom purposes, and some have created their own classroom. But what it allows you to do is create and post assignments where you can include the instructions, web links, you can create templates for documents, and you can set the parameters for sharing and all those things, and you can monitor it in real time. And you'll be able to access the Google Classroom from your house as well. So students can basically work on these assignments in school or at home, and it allows the teacher to monitor in real time their progress on these assignments. So if a student has been assigned a report, they have to write 3 paragraphs, they've only got 1 done, you can see where they're at, and then it's on them to, when they've completed the assignment, to submit it as done and turn it in, and then you can grade it and they can see it. And it allows for very good monitoring, and in time, I believe, we'll be moving to a paperless school where there'll be no need to print papers. They should be able to do everything online. But that's maybe years down the line. But in the computer lab, essentially I have the kids come in, they know how to access the Google Classroom, and whatever we have to do for the day, we'll go over it in Google Classroom. The instructions and parameters are set, and then I can monitor what they're doing as they're doing it. And then it also allows for teachers to say, we're doing a European Explorers project, we've got science fair coming up, they need to create their sheets for their board. They can do that in Google Slides. For Halloween, I had them take a selfie, and then they were able to decorate a picture of themselves. And we did a costume drawing project, graphic design. They could share all those things with you. Yeah, and then also they can post and comment as well. And so teachers can leave comments on the assignment, leave suggestions, allow them to go back and make revisions. It's just very cool stuff, very good sharing capabilities, but also with it come the dangers of, sharing it and then being able to communicate with one another and being able to monitor that communication. So I usually have to stay on my feet and stay moving through the classroom, because it's hard to monitor everything. And we don't have, with the Google Chrome system, the oversight software that the Windows provides. Windows allows for you to be able to sit at your desk and see what's on every screen, but Google Security doesn't allow for the monitoring software we use at other schools to be available here. So I literally have to stay on my feet in the back of the class, and I can see what everybody's doing. But I get my steps in for the day. Any questions about the programs or anything that I mentioned? Yes? That's a great question. Well, what I found out this year is that we have not got to the point where we wipe it from year to year. So documents and files and things that were created for your student last year are still in their Google Drive this year. We do wipe the computers and clean the computers every school year, but if they've saved whatever the item is to their Google Drive, it will still be there. And at least the way it looks now with the storage capacity and capability, there's really no need to ever clean it out, because one, they'll never fill up their storage. Two, it doesn't affect, it doesn't slow our computers down because it's all cloud-based. So they should be able to keep stuff that they created in first grade. If things stay the same when they get to high school, they say, look, I made this drawing, or I wrote this paper in first grade, and they can pull it up. And exit. High school, well, I don't know yet. And I say this because we're the only school right now that uses the Google Chrome operating system. And so we're the pioneers for this and the guinea pigs. But students don't know it yet, but every student in Pike Township has a Google for Education account. We just don't utilize it. Or they just don't utilize it the way we do, because we actually have the Google Chrome operating system. And the beauty of it is what they do in the computer lab, they can also access in the Chromebooks in their room and all those things. And so from year to year, they should be able to keep it.
Do they have Chromebooks in the room?
Yes. Well, each grade is assigned 30 Chromebooks per grade, along with iPads. I'm not sure how many iPad mini iPads that each grade has, but each grade has 30. And so the teachers for each grade determine how they split those up, or the time is utilized. But most students throughout the day get on the computers at least some point in time in the day, at least from what I understand. And then we also have a second computer lab too, which is most elementary schools don't have 2 computer labs. And I believe the teachers utilize those very frequently.
The end of December, we're supposed to be a 1 to 3. 1 Chromebook for every 3 kids.
Oh, wow. So right now, we're the only school that's using this. So the middle schools aren't using it, for example?
No.
Do you think they're going to in the next year?
Yes. The plan is to roll out.
Everyone's getting Chromebooks.
Mm-hmm.
So I need to learn this system, is what you're telling me.
Yes.
Okay.
Well, if you have do you have an Android phone? Or are you Apple?
No, Apple.
If you have Android, you pretty much know it already.
Google Doc stuff at the PTO stuff done?
I can't look at it.
Oh.
That's why I don't put the stuff in there. I can look at it on my phone, but like looking at an No, my computer at home has a lot of issues. So I use my work computer a lot.
I understand.
I believe that the Google Education student account, that student ID will be inactive after graduation. So that's where they would have their own Google account if Google is still a thing by 12th grade.
So yeah, so when we're the only school that has it now, so how it will play out in the years to come, I'm not sure yet. But I could see this really making school more efficient and allowing parents to share and be connected even at any time, with what your students are doing. Google Classroom, you can actually download that app, and if you access your student's account, you can see what's done in their Google Classroom, the grades that they've gotten. Also, in the Google Classroom that I've created for your students that they have access to, the programs that we're going to discuss, they're on the back of your sheet. All of the links to those there's a quick link to them in the About section of each Google class that we've created. And it might make it easier for you to access it aside from just having to type these links in. Now I've created a short list of the programs that they can access at home. In addition to the ones that are on this list, they also do Scholastic Reading Counts and Scholastic Fast Math, but I believe that the Pike account that your kids are connected to is only accessible on the Pike network, so I did not put that on the list. But some students are required to do Fast Math daily, depending on their reading or their math level. But every student does Fast Math at least 2 to 3 times a month. And Scholastic Reading Counts is something that's utilized in the classroom where kids can check out books, read them, and then take a quiz on that, and a virtual quiz on that the teacher can access and grade. On this list here, at the top of the list, Mayan is a reading program. Is actually a virtual library, thousands of books. Each student, when they first get on Mayan, they take a reading test to test their reading level, and then Mayan gives them books catered to their reading level and their interests. And they can adjust those. The students can adjust their interests, but as they read through the books, after each book there's a quiz. So they have to answer 5 questions related to the book. And depending on their answers and what score they get, there are new avatar characters they can get. But as they continue reading, their reading level increases and more books are made available if they show that they are, handling those books well. The login for that, or the link to that, is listed here, and their login is their student ID number for the username and the password. And so we're moving to a system called Clever, which is going to allow them to log in to all of the websites that they'll be able to access at home or outside of Pike through one login. But currently, Mayan Reading Program is the only one that's currently on there. And to log into it, they just have to type their 500 number or student ID number for the username and the password. Another game that is very popular with the students, from the youngest to the oldest, is Prodigy. Some of you probably have heard your students wanting to play Prodigy at home. It's a virtual math game. It's like if you mixed World of Warcraft with Fast Math, or math learning program, where the kids they create a character, they get a unique name, and they earn points and power up by fighting each other by answering math problems. And so the kids love to play it. They want to play it every time they come to the lab. But there's also a social aspect to it as well, because the kids can connect up with one another and fight one another. And they power up, level up, and they can get different characters and different things, just like you could in a World of Warcraft game. You build your character up, and so you're more powerful. When you answer 2 + 2 = 4, if you're fighting somebody who's weaker than you, my answer is stronger than you. I electrocute you, and I win. But the kids love to play it. But students, most students 2nd through 5th grade have a teacher-created account. But you can also create an account for your child at home. And if you request it from your teacher, they can give you a class code, which will connect them to their grade level. And the things that the teacher is able to, when she creates the account, set what he or she would like the focus of the math problems to be. So whether they want it to be division or multiplication, simple addition, various things, the teacher can set what the focus of the math problems are, which is very cool. Or if you want to, you can set your own at home or create your own at home, and your kids can still access it here. So you'll have to get those passwords from your teacher.
And with that one, you get an update on your phone. They'll give you an update of what
Yes.
your student's doing.
Yep. And I think there's an app for that too. And the kids can play on the phone as well. Brain Pop and Brain Pop Junior, very good science and social concerns website where they can just find a lot of good information. There's various topics that are available for them to study. Each topic comes with a video, activities, a game that's suited just for that. And the login for that is Pike Eagle, MSD Pike. And very soon they'll be able to access that through their Google for Education website. Google for Education account. Most websites, as you know, are moving to that where you can log in using your Google or your Facebook. And so they've made it available, and we're actually working on it. Might be done this week or next, where they'll be able to access it by just clicking on sign in through Google, and they'll be able to do that, which will make it a little bit easier than typing in Pike Eagle MSD Pike. Typing Club is a program that first grade HA all the way up through fifth grade have utilized, which basically teaches basic keyboarding. There's like 500 lessons, and they teach keyboarding through various games and activities, and at least twice a month all of our students are doing that. First grade high ability all the way through fifth grade, and most of the students love it. They make it very entertaining. A lot of our kids are finger peckers, is what I call them. They peck but they can type very fast because they're used to using their thumbs. And so there are some kids who can type with their index fingers and thumbs faster than some of us could probably type with all 10 fingers. But it teaches them how to sit in proper position and do that. And they log in with that through their Google for Education account. ABCYA, Starfall, those are just games and learning activities, math and science related. No login needed for that. Cool Math, I'm sure you guys have heard of that. Primary games, I didn't list that just because most kids go to that on their own. But all those, they're moving. They say Cool Math and primary games are supposed to be educational. Some of them aren't educational. Cool Math has added some shooting games on there, which go against our school policy, where it's like tanks riding around shooting each other. So we have to monitor that. So you have to keep an eye on that. But you guys at home, if you choose to let them do that, that's fine as well. I put the Destiny app on there. Destiny is where they can access the library, what's available in the library for books.
This library?
Yeah, this library. When you go to the website, you'll click on Eagle Creek, and it'll allow the students to see what's available in the library for checkout. They can search for books that they might want to get when they come back to the library next time, or if they're looking online or see a book out somewhere and want to see if it's available in our library, they can do that as well. Any questions on anything I've shared? I try to throw a lot out real quick.
Well, I appreciate you telling me this because 2 nights ago my daughter was crying because she couldn't figure out the password.
Oh, for Mayan?
And somehow Kiefer knew it. My son knew it because he's in 6th grade and I think he's using it.
Yeah.
Because he started rattling this off and I write this down. What are you saying?
Yeah. We just moved to the Clever system, so you can't just Google Mayan and click on the site and log in through the site. You have to go through the Pike security or the Pike. It's basically a filter website, so to make it easier for the kids.
Are they moving towards totally on computer?
No, I mean, no. In elementary, you don't want them totally on the computer, but there is definitely a push to make sure that when kids are graduating, they're ready for work in college. So obviously then you backtrack that planning. So more exposure. And we do have some teachers who are doing a lot of Google Docs and sharing. Sometimes I have kids that will share record their picture with me because they think it's cool to be able to do that. So they do that back and forth. Teachers will communicate. Some teachers are ahead of other teachers, which is pretty normal in utilizing that. But I know that one day, one of the hopes would be instead of a snow day, it's an e-learning day. So kids are getting their assignments on the computer. We're not there, but it helps as far as in those snow days. I know Brownsburg is now doing e-learning days. Several districts around this road are there.
That'd be nice. 4-day school week, 1 day at home. My wife does that. She teleworks. She can work Monday and Friday from home.
Like a PD day. Six other kids have assignments.
All right. Just lastly, I did my best to put passwords on the sheet. If there are any passwords or logins that you'd like to know, just email me and I will send it home with the student. I can't send passwords and logins over email. That's illegal for me. But if you want access to anything or if you find something that I didn't put on this list, let me know and we'll get that sent home with your child so they'll be able to access it at home.